Alright. Everybody wants to know about a philosophy of writing math tests. Okay? Here's your philosophy. Should be easy to grade. Meaning that I try wherever possible to make numbers reasonable so that you're not confused by the sheer size of the numbers. Okay? I try to make it so a calculator isn't required because I don't want you to come across two big numbers multiplied together and try to do it in your head, screw it up, and then have the rest of it go downhill.
So it's not like the square root of 16,001.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that. Okay? So, if things don't seem like they're at least a little bit slick, you might be doing it wrong would be a takeaway from this. The other thing is that C students should pass.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
It's not going to be way hard.
Okay, so what
But
that
isn't
means...
that the nature of being a C student is that you pass?
What?
Yeah, but if you were like a C student in Merrill's class, it would
No, okay.
You'd be an A student in
So-
this class.
So what that means in my class is that I write tests so that the student that I feel like has learned Calc 3 to as good an extent as required to become some flavor of engineer will get a C. Okay? So what that means is when I list questions, I usually do it this way. I go through and I pick, okay, here are some questions. I'm going to ask you exactly 0 F-level questions. Okay? I'm going to ask a couple of D-level questions. I'm going to ask you one A-level question.
So an A-level question is the easiest.
No.
Hardest.
Like, this is the question that sorts the students who are going to get an A from the students who are going to get a B. Yeah. There'll be one really hard conceptual question in general. There'll be two pretty hard conceptual questions that'll sort the B students out. And then there'll be a bunch of stuff that you can kind of do or not do, right? And those will make up the rest. So I've got 5. I think that means that C student questions should be about 5 of the questions. Cool. So D should be, have you come to class? Are you paying attention? Like, are you here? Do you know what the symbols in this class mean, basically? C is, do you grasp a little bit of the concept? Can you do the calculations that you're supposed to? Can you think about the pictures in reasonable ways? Things like that. B questions are you getting this? Like, do you have the concepts down a little bit? Can you do a little bit more abstraction? Okay. C students are going to get some of the partial credit on those, right? They're just not going to get them all the way right. And then the A question is like some totally off-the-wall thing that I think of and I say, ooh, that's cool.
Like caterpillars on logs. Remember that one?
Like caterpillars on logs. That sounds like a great
I thought it
question.
was beetles on a pipe.
Yeah.
Was it a beetle?
Yeah, and the
Whatever.
pipe was heating up and they were dying slowly.
It was a whole cartoon thing too. It
Yeah,
was.
okay, that sounds wonderful. Definitely.
It was
I'll
also
try
the-
to write a
I
Beatles
got
on a
that one
pipe
right
question.
too.
It was
then
also
you
the
had the
easiest
yam.
question on the quiz.
That
Okay.
damn yam.
Questions on this? Like, this is test.
Freaking farmer
Uh-huh.
Jane. Hear that
I believe I would like to, yes. So my plan is to say, okay, take the test, first hour and a half, whatever. And then the second hour and a half, we're going to say, okay, forget that just happened, let's learn some math.
Okay.
Cool. What's up?
Are you a hint giver?
Yeah, I'll sell you hints.
Sell?
Sell.
Is like the first one free? Or
Bring
like,
cash.
You know, I never knew that Merrill did
Okay.
that.
I should
Sold
point out
hints.
that I don't mean bring
Yeah.
cash. I do mean
No,
that I will
with
write
points.
in purple or something on your test what I gave you, right? Because if I had to give you something, you don't deserve the same credit as somebody I didn't have to give that to.
I'm just saying, like,
Right.
everyone deserves one freebie.
And then depending on how you feel,
You got
when
a
you grade it.
you got a sheet of notepaper. That was your freebie, man.
Front and
I
back or
agreed
just
to that. Donald agreed to that.
Okay, I'll tell you what. You can either have a sheet of notepaper or a free hint.
Oh,
Your
I love
choice.
that.
That's crappy. It was
There's
like,
really
isn't
no
it-
pleasing you, is
No.
there?
That's exactly what you just proposed.
It was like we spent half of physics not realizing that Zion would tell us how to do every
half a sheet
problem.
of paper.
I told you from the very beginning.
Really?
Okay, are
No
there
excuse.
The entire equation
Okay,
for me, and he's
are
like,
there
"There you
other
go, you got it right."
questions?
What happens if you solve the A level question really easily and you're having trouble with the C level questions?
Unlikely to happen, but
Unlikely to happen, and also,
You're still a C-level student
yeah,
at that rate.
you're not a C-level student at that point.
Do you do a lot of questions where it's
It was that meteor one.
if
I
you
was like,
don't
I
answer
know how to
part
do
A
it.
right and
I
you
did
keep
it, like,
screwing
10
up?
times.
No, I try to stay away from dependent
Okay.
questions because, to be really totally honest, I never did well on those. So
yeah.
You mean the dependent questions with like 5 steps?
no, there'll be
like
some
Merrill did in linear
lots of the
algebra,
C questions will be just freaking calculate this
I don't know what you
thing.
mean. What you did
where you take
Some
the
of those
matrix
will
and you
be-
write this and you do this operation, this operation, this operation,
I-
and they're all dependent on
I
your
am
answer from
moving
the first
away
part.
from the
shit.
straight
But I thought
calculate
that
because
she'd still give
computers
us
are
partial
getting
credit
better.
if like we were
process.
wrong on one part,
Yeah.
but we
Yeah,
did
and that's
everything
no
else
longer sort of
right.
the point.
Yeah,
But
he's not going to do those like dependent kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, so I definitely don't do the A through F where if you screw up A, all the rest of them are totally
you.
wrong.
But Meryl didn't do that. She
Yes,
gave
she
us
did.
partial
She did.
credit.
She
at
don't every
that
test.
time.
didn't, but she
Like
did.
if we
Okay, I'm saying I don't. You guys can tell me whether or not I do. I don't really do part A through F anyway.
Yeah, she's like, oh,
Other
it's
thing?
only 4 questions. And it's like
8
through
parts
G.
per question.
Is it going to be
Oh,
multiple
yeah.
choice or is it just going to be normal
Like
wording
11
questions?
It'll never be multiple choice.
Do you
Okay.
do true false?
I like some true false. I like some matching.
For like definitions and stuff.
Or what is
Yeah,
this?
like fill in the definition kind of stuff.
General concept information.
Yeah.
What about like level curves to the?
Those are these guys. Like, were you awake? Do you know that the points on a function surface, right,
Can
should
like
be
saddle point be on
A,
there?
B,
Take
F of
take
A,
a slice.
B.
What's it look like?
Yeah.
Give me an example of a saddle point.
What about like
Yeah.
matching level curves?
Jesus,
to this?
Ben's just like slowly.
Yeah, those are nice
yeah,
questions
well, we
because
gotta move it forward.
they're really easy to grade because I
Oh,
can
gosh.
have
Yeah.
someone else grade them. And,
It's only 10 questions, but it's like 3 chapters. So there's some of it just gonna be completely not on there. Like from
Well, there's a couple chapters where we have a couple things like finding the tangent line or
yeah, so
So-
we have like 4
Yeah,
different
tangent
ways
plane.
to find equations of tangent planes or equations of planes. I would expect one of those to appear, and I'm going to pretend that that's representative of whether you know all of them. It might not be true.
More or less.
I have to give you a
general.
grade somehow. It's not going to be over the whole course. I wish it could be, but. Other
Is that why
things?
they're- Is that why they're making this a full semester course? I thought-
Oh, why we're moving it to fall?
That's just to make it more convenient for people.
There's a good reason that we're moving it to fall and has nothing to do with testing.
So Jordan was good this summer.
Good?
So that we'd all don't have to do it.